You may ask yourself, well, what's the right prayer book for me? I'm glad you asked, because today we're going to ask that question several times. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Orthodox Review, where we have piles and piles of books. And I hate to say it, but this pile could be bigger, but I'm still missing a few titles. But let's not get ahead of ourselves now. First, please like, share, and subscribe. All that neat jazz. And don't forget to tune in till the episode of the end of the episode. Watch time is a thing. Yeah, the thumbs up definitely helps. And if you only have a half a thumb, that's good too. All right, with all that shilling out of the way, let's get into this proper. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about choosing the right prayer book for you. So I've narrowed this down to 5 sections, and we're going to go through them together, and hopefully this will be quick and painless. And at the end of this, please comment below and let me know what you think, and if you have other recommendations or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And if you want to add to this collection, which I haven't even finished reviewing all these books for the channel yet, please feel free to help us out by committing on Patreon. We have 3 Patreons right now, all local friends of mine, but hey, that's good. It's a start. Anyway, okay, so let's get into this. So let's create some space, shall we? Because there's nothing that defines this channel more than my wild gesticulations. Okay, now my hand's got some room. So first thing you got to look at is, does your jurisdiction publish or have a sanctioned prayer book? So right off the bat, so the OCA has 3. And I've reviewed all 3 of these books. So you have the original Svit, then you have Orthodox Daily Prayers from early 2000s, and then you have the new Orthodox Christian Prayers, which is an updated amalgamation of the 2. So those are the ones that the OCA offers. Rocor, I don't have any other books. Why? Because I gave them away before I left for the monastery. But I'll get more. But no. I said that backwards. Rocor has books. I have Rocor's books. I was looking at GoArch. I don't have GoArch books. Sorry. So the Rocor books, really you have 2 to choose from. You have the Jordanville book, and then you have the Pocket Jordanville book. So from that jurisdiction, that's what you have there. GoArch, I'm sorry, I don't have their books. Not for lack of trying. I just, money's a thing. I was hoping to have these in time for this show, but the Romanian Orthodox Archdiocese of the USA also offers 2 books, one of which I've owned in the past, which is a pocket prayer book about the size of Little Red. The other one is a full-size prayer book, about 900 pages, parallel-facing text, really cool, and neat translation. And then you have Antiochian, which this is pretty much it for the Antiochians, is Little Red, but who doesn't like Little Red? Of course, you could technically count in the Hapgood Service Book and the Nasser 5-pounder, but also, with Antiochians and Rocor, you also have your Western Rite books. And we'll get into these in a minute, but here they are. And then also you have your various and sundry books, like, Manual for Eastern Orthodox Prayers, which we've covered before. One of my 2 pillars of Orthodox prayer books, the New Rome Press prayer book, which I will never, ever be able to say enough good about. This one was actually a gift from my friend Ephraim years ago. This is actually a Melechite prayer book, which is massive in scope, and only 1 mention of the Pope, which I've scribbled out. Then you have, of course, the Ancient Faith prayer book, which, for all intents and purposes, we can call Antiochian. And then you have the prayer book of the early Christians, which I think is more of what's the word I'm looking for? It's a great learning manual as far as prayer books go. So you have all these options through your various jurisdictions. Now, there are section 2 is going to be like, okay, so are there specific prayers and services you're looking for in a private devotional? Now this is where things get really personalized, because you have to. I mean, let's face it. Every one of these books, despite various and sundry additions to them, are going to contain morning prayer, evening prayer, that sort of thing. So after that, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a book that maybe contains the hours? Okay, so if we're looking for books that have the canonical hours in them, you've got the New Rome book. You've got the Book of Common Prayer from the Western Rite, which is a totally different set of hours. That's according to the Western tradition, but it is fully Orthodox. And then outside of that, you really don't have much outside of buying an Orologian from one of the various jurisdictions. And of course, we're just focusing on personal prayer books here, not service books or supplementals. So if you're looking for hours, those are the two to go with. Now, are you looking for a higher volume of prayers? Like, let's say you're looking for a prayer book that's going to include extra prayers for throughout the day, or even akathist services, canons, that sort of thing. Luckily, most prayer books do contain a small section of prayers throughout the day and a couple of akathist and canons. But I will say that bang for the buck, the ones that I would go with, again, are New Rome, and shudder to say it, this Melechite prayer book, again, if you just scribble out that one mention of the Pope in there, is Orthodox. This has so many services in it. Not only does it have akathists and canons, but it has selections from ones that aren't in there. Canons and akathists. Quite the list. Text on the Fathers. So it's actually a pretty all-encompassing book. Another thing you might be looking for is, are you a fan of a specific translation? And that's something you really have to check out for yourself. And this is where I do a little self-shilling and say you're going to have to go back and watch a few of my previous episodes to talk more about the translations. But I will say, in my personal opinion, the most comfortable translations on the market right now are the Jordanville book, the St. Tikhon's book, and, barring one slight issue, I would say the New Rome book. And then, of course, more comfortable English translations are going to be Little Red. It's going to be the Manual of Eastern Orthodox Prayers, and pretty much anything that was before that. So, you've got the Book of Common Prayer, the Old Svit. Modern, you're going to be looking at the Ancient Faith book, and for just poetic beauty, Prayers of the Early Christians. Now, the other thing you might be asking yourself, well, which one has the prayer rule I'm looking for? And here's where I gotta tell you. Your prayer rule depends entirely on your spiritual father. I could shill any one of these books on you, any which one of them, and reading the given prayer rule in them, cover, front to back, they're all going to be pretty much the same. They're all going to be long. Talk to your priest about that one. You don't have to read every prayer in the book. Okay, so a peek into my world. So morning prayers. Okay, you've got the Shoshagian, you've got Psalm 50, you have the Symbol of Faith, and then you have a whole bunch of prayers. But you know what? I don't read all those prayers. I read the 7th prayer. And then I read the prayer to our guardian angel and the Theotokos, and I finish up. So the prayer rule depends on what's been prescribed by your spiritual father. So don't worry too much about the rule of prayer in the book. But if you're looking for something with volume, so you have options, yeah, you're going to want to go for one of the thicker monastic type books. If you are a practicing Western Rite Orthodox Christian, so many books. These are the two that I own right now. I've got about 3 more on the way. But this one, the Book of Common Prayer, okay, imagine the Book of Common Prayer from the 1800s from the Episcopal Church, but Orthodox, and that's what's in that. So converts, there you go. The same thing with the St. Ambrose Prayer Book. Like I covered in the previous video, it's pretty much a very Catholic Orthodox book. So it's got all that good Western Rite stuff in it. Now, are you... You're balling on a budget, folks. You're balling on a budget. I was balling on a budget. I'm still balling on a budget. You don't have to go out and buy a book. Do you know how many PDFs are out there? How many resources there are out there? I'm going to leave a ton of links in the description. But you have the Daily Readings app from GoArch. Father Seraphim Holland's work on Orthodox.net pretty much has the entire ROCOR Orologian in it. OCA.org, Antiochian.org, and most jurisdictions have prayers either in an app or on their website. So if you're looking for daily prayers or similar resources, you don't actually need to buy a book. But of course, who doesn't want to buy a book? So that's the first 4. The 5th thing I'm going to have to say is ask your priest. When all else fails, ask your priest. Now, I'm a collector, and I like to fancy myself like a student of prayer books. I'm a dumb person. I'm not educated. I'm not very smart. I just like books, and I like digging into them. When it comes down to it, ask your priest. When I asked my priest years ago, what book? This is the one. He gave me a copy of this, not this copy. My copy's over there on the shelf. It's falling apart. He was like, yeah, just follow this. Okay. And then I started buying books. What should I do? He was like, just follow this. And I got more books. And he said, what should I do? Just follow this, he said. And so that's what I did. So really the prayer rule I follow today, no matter what book I read it out of, follows the rubrics in this book. Now, last but not least, I know what you're saying. What about the old rite? What about the... Okay, I'm sorry. I don't have that book right now. Stephen Maynard has yet to mail it to me. But that's okay. I used to have a copy of the 2nd edition, gave it away to a friend as a gift, and still waiting on 3rd. So, hey, if you're old right, you shouldn't be watching this video anyway. Shame on you. Do some Matanyas. I'm kidding. Anyway, so that is my really rough breakdown on choosing the right prayer book for you. It's a deep question and deserves a lot of conversation, which is why the comment section below is where we're really going to start to have some fun. So let's talk about choosing the right prayer book for you. What do you look for in a prayer book? Let's have this conversation. What do I look for in a prayer book? Pages, obviously. Anyway, let's get into this. And without further ado, I'll have to dig up some short video of Spooky Cat for you because she is outside right now. Anyway, don't forget to go to church, say your prayers, and remember God. God bless you all.